Rawson's vision quickly faded when bills for equipment and other necessities were going unpaid. The converted garage that upwards of 10
Bro, stop, bro. What was
and
that?
other necessities were going unpaid.
What is this? No, bro, no. No, you trying.
Come on! What's the matter with you? There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
What it do, nephew? It's your uncle. Go! What I'm coming at you is some that's going to involve some hoops. Now, not in the typical fashion that you usually see it on this channel, but it's an interesting video. Now, I watched the first 20 seconds, and I already knew this one was going to be a banger. This video is coming from Weston Ware, the dark side of American prep basketball. Now, like I said, I watched like the first 20 seconds or so, and just right off the bat, he already hooked me in with how he started the video, and it's right up to par with what he's saying. In the school that he's talking about, to be honest, that's from my era, so it seems kind of familiar to me. But without further ado, nephew, niece, make sure you hit that like button for the algorithm and Uncle Lu. Make sure you share the video with somebody next to you, and then hit that subscription with that notification muscle, because we on the way to 10K in 2025. Why I keep doing this? Because I want 7K tonight. It's not going to happen tonight, but, you know, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going until we get there, and I appreciate every single one of y'all. Now, without further ado, nephew, niece, it's your Uncle Lulu, believe me.
In 2017, a group of teenage basketball players arrived from all across the world to what they thought was their ticket to college stardom. It was a newly founded prep academy promising elite coaching and unlimited national exposure to college scouts. But once they got there, they found themselves living out of a converted garage and without sufficient food or hot water. Dreams were shattered, families' life savings were gone, and some even found themselves arrested and behind bars. Sadly, this wasn't an isolated event. This is the dark side of American prep basketball, where the pursuit of athletic excellence has opened the door to broken promises, corruption, and straight up fraud.
It's all too familiar, though.
Now, prep academies weren't always like this. Schools like Montverde or Oak Hill Academy have been around for 100 years. During that time, they built their reputations first as prestigious academic institutions. Naturally, over decades and with access to funding, they developed elite athletic programs to go with it. And this produced NBA stars like D'Angelo Russell, Carmelo Anthony, and Kevin Durant. These schools became the gold standard, offering proper facilities, elite coaching, a well-rounded education, and legitimate access to college recruitment. Of course, all of this at a price sometimes upwards of $60,000 a year. But
now, I just want to throw that out there. These 5-star athletes, these high-ranked kids in all these places coming from, they're not paying that.
around 2000, everything started to change.
They're
the
not
rise of the
paying
internet
that.
and social media meant that high school players could become overnight sensations by one viral clip. And with that trend, basketball was becoming increasingly global, and the competition for these Division I scholarships was skyrocketing. On top of that, due to the NBA's recruiting cycle being mostly in the spring and summer, more and more attention was being placed on these summer basketball tournaments like AAU. College basketball recruiters were finding their guys at these AAU summer tournaments, making the traditional high school basketball season less and less relevant and more for just following up with guys you already knew about. This caused players and families to look for other avenues outside of high school to get more exposure to college recruiting. Then in 2006, the popularity of basketball academies really began to take off with the formation of Findlay Prep in Henderson, Nevada. Founded by automotive millionaire Cliff Findlay, it made no qualms about the fact that this school was solely for developing elite basketball talent.
We have one team, that's it.
It's nothing like any school you've ever been to.
Cliff recruited the best players from all across the country and bought a house for them all to live under one roof.
Bro, for those of y'all that actually grew up watching basketball, or let me not say basketball, but that grew up watching actual like this side of hoops, that's how much of an OG I am. Findlay Prep was Dominic Artis, what was it, Brandon Ashley. Like, bro, I was tapped in. Even when Kelly Oubre ended up going there. Tapped
education
in.
part of the school was secondary
Tapped.
and was outsourced to a local private school, Henderson
DeAndre Ayton
International.
went there or
And
no?
technically, the model worked. Finley Prep won national championship after national championship, and
Look at that. That's Nigel Williams Goss. Bro, I used to watch their docu-series. Bro, dang, memory unlocked. Oh my gosh.
NBA stars like Avery Bradley, Kelly Oubre, and Tristan Thompson. So the framework
Corey
for these
Joseph,
basketball factories was set, but not without skepticism.
The biggest storyline I'd say was that Finley's not a real school. You know, our guys do what they want.
I thought it was going to be a huge campus.
The high school is just us.
Regardless, Finley Prep's success sparked a gold rush. Dozens of similar academies
That's
started
terrible.
sprouting up all across the country, promising the same formula: exposure, elite coaching, and a fast track to Division I basketball. But unsurprisingly, this new and unregulated market created a hotbed for fraud.
There are a lot of fly-by-night programs that's not accredited that, you know, can open up with a bag of money and say, hey, come here, an AAU program, and now let's go play a national schedule. So I get it.
Well, it's a pretty novel high school basketball concept. Shannon Forest Christian School will play host to something called the 22 Feet Basketball Academy, which their goal is to compete against the likes of Oak Hill Academy and other national powers and develop not only basketball players, but students in an area they found perfect.
In 2013, Mike Rawson founded a school by the name of 22 Feet Academy. It was going to follow the same model as Finley Prep, housing
crazy.
all the players under one roof and outsourcing the education. And with Mike Rawson being from the UK originally and a former EuroLeague agent, his vision was to not only recruit domestic talent, but international as well. In no time at all, 22 Feet Academy was going to rival the likes of Montverde or IMG Academy with its elite coaching staff and facilities. However, it would only take a few short years for the facade to come crashing down. Rawson's vision quickly faded when bills for equipment and other necessities were going unpaid. The converted garage that upwards of 10
Bro, stop, bro. What was that?
and other necessities were going unpaid.
What is this? No, bro, no. No, you trying.
Converted garage that upwards of 10
Oh, no.
players were living in at a time was becoming vermin infested.
You know, this is...
And these promised upgraded facilities were nowhere to be found. The situation only grew worse when the authorities discovered that Rawson and his wife were running a visa fraud scheme. The consequences were devastating, including the arrest and deportation of Turkish player Mumin Tunk. The indictment stated that Rawson did not require regular school attendance, allowed students to take online courses in violation of their visas, and allowed them to transfer repeatedly without being properly sponsored on an updated Form I-20.
The Rawson duo was charged with defrauding the United States.
Nobody seemed to know all the other things that were going on underneath the surface. It seems to be the students that are the ones that are hurting right now.
Unfortunately, 22 Feet Academy isn't an anomaly. Across America, similar stories have been playing out. Unaccredited diploma mills churn out these fraudulent transcripts that often leave players ineligible to even play college basketball. Over and over again, we see these basketball factories closing without warning, leaving families without refunds and without many options. Even successful programs aren't immune. Even Finley Prep had to close its doors back in 2019.
Wait, really? Where was I?
The tragedy of the situation
closed down
is
in
it's not the
2019?
five-star recruits destined for the NBA that are suffering the most. It's the families that are betting everything on their child's dream. Parents draining savings accounts or taking out loans to pay tuition, desperate for that promised exposure to college scouts. Too often they're left with nothing but debt and disappointment, and sometimes for these international students, deportation. As competition for these college scholarships continues to intensify and international players increasingly vie for spots at American universities, the pressure on these young athletes and their families just continues to grow. And while there are still legitimate prep academies that continue to develop their talent the right way, the industry's dark side persists. It's all a cautionary tale of what happens when the dreams of a young athlete collide with corruption and unregulated greed. If you're considering going to a prep academy, do your research, check accreditation, talk with former students, and if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Damn, okay, nephew, I see you with that, the whole peace thing, but final thoughts on this one. Really, really wanted to watch this one. I thought it was important. Just because mainly this is more common than what he put in here. I know he could have went into further detail, and he put such a great video together. Shout out to Weston Ware. Again, video will be down in the description as well as a link to the video. But there's schools that they just pop up on a day-to-day and they're just here to grab these kids, right? That's why even with this whole OTE thing, OTE was so new, but it's actually been one of the more successful incubators for basketball. Now, as far as education, I do not know what kind of education these kids are getting, right? Because at these basketball factories and schools, right, they're not taking any courses. They just going out there playing and they just checking some boxes off, right? Basket weaving, as they like to call it back in the day, right? But then you got the big programs, right? The Oak Hills, the Montverts, these schools. They're actually schools that have been around for years. And they're gonna be for generations, But this is an ongoing issue, not even at this level, but even at the college level, and so on and so forth. So it's a lot of people that's vulnerable in these situations. Just something to be mindful about. Now, I appreciate y'all. 6,000 subs, man. On the way to 10K, 7K. I want you next. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.